What's up, guys, and welcome to the Dueling Dojo podcast, episode 4. And I'm Metaphos, here with Eric, aka Sizzle. What's up, Eric? What's going on?
Hello, hello. Excited to be here as usual.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. Sorry it's been a little bit. Eric's had a little bit going on with his living situation, as well as me being behind the ball on this YouTube stuff, but we're getting back into it here. Got some exciting things coming up. And I guess the first thing I want to touch on, Eric, is because you're going, I'm not, is RBE2 New York. How's your preparation for that been? What are you expecting? I guess we can kind of touch on all of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've honestly haven't. I don't really do any prep like in general. But I've just been playing. And I have I have a newish value list that I've been liking a lot. I don't know if it's
Okay.
good, but it's been fun. And in terms of what I expect, I mean, I feel like since Nats, the format has been kind of the same for a minute. It's basically like Edison was like solved, and then Dreamfrog got introduced.
Yeah.
And yeah. So it was just like the big three plus Dreamfrog is now pretty real in my opinion. And there's GBs is showing up a lot more recently. And I see it beating real decks once in a while more often than I would like to have given it credit for. But yeah, other than that, I feel like it's really what I expect.
What
I
do you
don't know. What? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what do you think about Amaryllis? Because I know post Nats we were talking about how a lot of people are hyping up that deck as like kind of breaking into the top 3 or 4 decks also. And uh, what do you think about that? Like moving forward?
Yeah, I feel like unfortunately that deck is definitely falling off because like it does have good matchups into stuff like value, like frogs, but then Blackwings became I don't know if they necessarily became more popular, but like after Hector started doing well with it, I feel like Blackwing IRL tops have been a little more frequent, and I
Yeah,
feel like more, new players. There's so many people diving into Edison right now, right? Like Edison card stonks. I don't know if anyone pays attention. Like they're all going up like crazy,
yeah,
and I feel like that's because a lot of new players are getting in, and new players obviously all tend to play Blackwing. And even a new Blackwing player, if they draw decent against Amaryllis, are just gonna Bora pierce you for your into your butthole, and that's gonna really suck.
yeah. No, I agree. I definitely think Blackwings kind of gatekeeps that deck from ever being like a true top 3 type of deck. Because unlike like Blackwings versus Frogs, like that's a matchup Frogs don't really want to play against. But even then, it's like 50-50, 55-45. It's not like a crazy losing
Yes.
matchup, whereas like Amma into Blackwings is extremely rough.
I don't think it's like I don't know what number your ratio you're gonna give, but like extremely like I don't think it's like 80-20 or
No, no,
anything
no,
like
no, no. I
that.
don't think any matchup is really that bad, but I think it's
Yeah.
probably like
60-40,
60-40.
65,
Yeah,
35. Yeah,
that
yeah.
range, that realm. Yeah, yeah. So no, I agree. Um, yeah, I guess with post Nats, the biggest question, like you were saying, is whether Dream Frog's a part of that equation now. And I kind of tend to agree that it is, especially because right after Nats, it also won the Ultimate Time Wizard Sacramento.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. I won two back to back. Real quick though, with Emma though, GBs is almost 80-20
Is
in
it?
Emma, maybe. Yeah, it's really, really, really bad.
I guess that would make sense. But yeah, I just feel like if they stick Titanial, it's probably not that bad.
I mean, they always get a GB tag off, Chariot,
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, so, majority of the time I see it being bad, but I agree with you. But
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Dream Frog, because like I'm not gonna lie to you, after it topped Nats in my head, I was like, not just in my head, but also when I test it, I still just thought to myself, you know what? I still think Hero Frogs is just the better frog deck, and I thought it was more so people didn't know how to play against it. So I was really conflicted on whether I thought it would stay in the meta or if it would start to phase out. But then it immediately just won another event by someone who isn't traditionally an Edison player and probably hasn't put in those kind of hours, even though Denny's a crazy good player. Like I remember him doing really well back when I played current. Um, but yeah, do you think it's here to stay as like a top 4 deck?
Yeah. So I honestly haven't played against it too much. Uh, but like on paper to me, like in theory, in my theorio head, it like I agree with you. Hero Frog on paper, I feel like it's better. Like Miracle Fusion is just a fucking busted card. But the way I see it now, it's like you have to raw draw Miracle Fusion, right?
Hmm.
For Hero Frogs to like have their benefit. Whereas Dream Frog doesn't need to do that. Like they get their like they have to draw Substitute, but that's like really easy. Um, I feel like Dream Frog's consistency is higher, and they see their power plays more often because of that. However, Hero Frogs, the ceiling's higher, and Hero Frogs, the biggest thing in my opinion, they have a better matchup spread because of that. Like they don't auto lose to like a Fossil Dino,
Right.
Kaiku, like
Crow's
the
weaker.
floodgate stuff.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So Dream Frog higher consistency, but it's like more fragile. I guess DDV, fucks it, messes that deck up super hard. Even though they do have like they do side Kaikus and stuff, but yeah, just basically what I think about it.
Yeah, I guess for me, the big thoughts that I had that differ is like I do think the Dream Frog deck relies more on the Frog engine just being good on its own, whereas traditionally Hero Frogs don't do that. That's why, like me personally, with my Hero Frog list, I've started playing Flip Flop Frog, and I've even considered playing Des Frog, because I think the utility of just making the Frog engine better on its own is really important.
Yep.
But
Yeah, Deathstroke has a lot of applications. I feel like that
mhm.
card actually might slide its way into actual Hero Frog.
Yeah, no, there's definitely still more to explore with the Hero Frog and just the Frog package in general in different decks. But for RBT New York, right? That's where it is.
Yep.
For that sake, what is your prediction? Let's start with top 8 decks and the spread that you expect to see.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it's gonna be a really standard spread. I feel like the format is getting more and more refined.
Yeah.
Um, Basically, I'm thinking, the standard two value, two Blackwing, one or two Frog variants, that either Dream Frog or Hero Frog, and then two random other decks. Basically, pick three plus like two random other decks, and my two other random decks I'm gonna pick is one Gladiator Beast
Okay.
and two probably. Okay, I'm gonna be spicy and put it out there. I've been saying this for a while, but I do think Christiasorn or some Lightsworn variant is. Dude, like the deck just seems so good to me on paper as long as it doesn't like break because it has a good matchup into Frogs, it has a good matchup into Value, and it has a decent, even like arguably good matchup into Blackwing. So I'm like, this deck has good matchup in the big three. Like, why isn't this deck doing anything? I just don't know. Like, there's lack of representation,
Yeah.
or maybe I'm just a complete idiot and the deck's actually just bad as hell. But yeah,
Probably the lack of representation. It's probably that like similar to frogs, it's like it's hard to say it's a whole lot better when a lot of it's like skill ceiling versus what you're getting out of the deck. Cuz yeah, it's a mill deck, but that deck is really hard to pilot optimally. Um at least at least the versions of the deck that I like to play.
Christiasorn, no more fairy variants, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and then on top of that, like you said, it's representation and just not enough people playing it probably. So I agree
Speaking of
though.
which,
I think it's really
what are
good.
we looking at, bro? What is
Oh,
this cook?
oh
What
my
is the cook?
bad. Yeah, I'll get off of
What are
this
we?
then.
No, what? Explain it.
Okay,
Explain the cook.
whatever. I
It's
will
been on
show
the
the.
screen for the
All
first
right.
like 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, but I was gonna have the graphic there, but I'll show it off. I'll show it off. This is a value deck I've been working on. It kind of takes the theory that Pudding started with the fairy deck, where you play some light sworns, like the 6 light sworns, but they're higher quality light sworns because like Lila and Raiko are just pretty much good into most decks. Um, and then on top of that, you still play the 3 recharge and the 1 charge. Uh, and it's just a more aggressive version of value that like gets to milling quicker, I guess. I don't know how good it is. I've only tested like maybe 8 or 9 matches with it, and it's done well so far. But I'm not like super high rated or anything.
I kind of want to try it because most of the time when I see players do this list, they either play like 42, 44 cards, or they just cut a bunch of traps. And you did neither.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Solar Recharge is so freaking broken, especially in this
Hmm.
deck.
No,
and
exactly.
like, yeah, you added monsters, but you have recharge in there. So if you end up recharging a light sword and you're actually drawing two, yeah, I don't, you're actually drawing two other cards. You're, but basically, I'm saying your hands aren't as monster cloggy as it would seem.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like I take out Caius's and stuff too. So like even the
Oh wait,
monsters are
there's no Caius. Oh my god.
well,
All
it's
right,
because you're
that
not playing
might have
hamster,
to concept.
but you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
playing
yeah.
Sork. Yeah, it's just a different type of list. I don't like I said, I'm not traditionally a value guy. I just cook up list all the time, and a lot of times they are not very
That's
good.
cool. This
So
is cool. I
yeah,
like the concept.
yeah, I'll throw out 100 ideas. If one of them is good, that's what it takes to win an event. So, but yeah, it would be sweet if something like this topped. But I guess for my top eight for RBT New York, I'll go with one Dream Frog, two Hero Frog, two Blackwing, two Vayu, and the sleeper deck will be Machina. We'll go with Machina.
Oh, you only have one sleeper deck.
Yeah, I honestly am getting scared with Edison. Because though like even if it is solved, I still like it a lot. There's still a lot of like technical play and whatnot, but I do feel like it's heading towards the direction of being solved. Um,
Yeah, I mean every format eventually will head toward that direction. I don't know. I feel like people have been saying that for like over a year now that
yeah,
Edison is solved, but it still hasn't been. But I do think we are closer than ever for sure.
yeah. I think before I was a big believer in like in my head, I thought frogs and blackwings were the best decks. Even if you like go look at my tier list and stuff like that before Nats, that's kind of how I had it tiered. Um, and I feel like now more people think that way, where it's like, oh, Blackwing is actually probably the best deck right now. Whereas like pre Nats, everyone thought Vayu was best deck, then Frogs, then Blackwings. So
Yeah, like, and I've been thinking on paper, Blackwings is the best deck. Like, there's never, sorry, there's almost never a spot where you can be like, oh, I play around any like two card combination Blackwing has. That's like almost impossible. Like,
mhm.
right, like Shura, Kalu, or like some
Right,
combination
you have to
Icarus,
guess which
whatever.
one you're playing into.
Exactly, exactly. So I feel like it seems really broken, but then I don't know. The results just say otherwise, man. Vayu just keeps doing well. Blackwings randomly, like this last deck, Ever 7, there was only one Blackwing in top
Right.
16. It's just like so weird how I don't know what it is. The deck just randomly just it's always the most represented deck, and it just doesn't convert as well as any other deck.
Yeah,
You know, so it's just
I think
weird.
one of the big things about that, I think there's like this big misconception that like Blackwings is an easy deck to play. And I,
Right.
I really don't think it is at all. And you can really see it in like micro nuances. And that's like one of the beauties of Edison still. I still do think technical play is still really important. Um, I just, I fear that eventually, and like you said, it's probably going to happen with every format. I fear it'll eventually be kind of like GOATs, where like the average player is really good because there's just every instance that you can possibly come across is going to be seen. And like, uh, I will say that I think it'll cycle enough because there's enough like this deck beats this deck type of stuff with Edison, where it won't degrade to like goats and it'll be more eternal in that sense. Um, but yeah, I just feel like the meta's kind of shaped up, and I'm not ruling out the possibility of new decks joining. I mean, Dreamfrog just did, so like maybe I'm overplaying it a little bit. Uh, but yeah, I just definitely worried about that, I guess, personally.
Yeah. No, I am too. But the only way it really happens is if basically everyone just devolves into Blackwings. But there are checks to it, like Vayu. Obviously, I don't know if it really beats Blackwing or not, but it does have at least a 50-50 matchup into
Right.
Blackwing, and then Hero Beat could always come back, and people also say that deck doesn't really beat Blackwing, but I don't know, it could, especially I don't know, there's just so many ways to side too. Like I don't think it'll ever devolve into like go towards Chaos Turbo. 70% of the player base is like Chaos Turbo or like something like ridiculous like that,
Yeah,
you
and
know what I
then
mean?
20 some odd warrior. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it'll ever come to that point, so I think we're fine.
Yeah, no. Me either, me either. But yeah, I mean, so you're going to New York, and then after that, are we planning to do Niagara? I know I am.
Yeah, I want to. I have a thing that Friday night, so if I do go, it'll be a red eye flight,
Oh
but
boy.
I'm hoping. It just sounds, yeah, I don't know. YCSs are just so freaking fun. I just can't describe it. They're just, it's a blast to go every time, you know?
Dude, I know that's how I feel. Like that's why like I had the option of either doing the RBT in New York or doing Niagara, and I was like, there's just no chance I
No, you picked
would
the right one.
not
Yeah.
want to go to. I just they're so fun, and like not only is there Edison players there that I see, but it's like the vendors that I know, the judges that I know, like old friends who played current. It I don't know, it's just a lot more lively in that sense. And then
It's way more lively for sure.
yeah, no, I'm super hyped for it. But yeah,
Also, one thing I realized too about RBTs versus YCSs is that YCSs are always held at a convention center, whereas RBTs or like any other like random not big Konami, like, well, I mean they're Konami events, but you know what I mean, like they're like at a random like store or something.
mhm.
But with the convention center, you can just get a hotel near the convention center. You don't have to Uber. You don't have to like. You can walk around with all your friends like everywhere because there's so much stuff around the convention centers. So like this is just so much nicer, man. This
Oh
is
yeah, no, it's sweet,
way
dude.
more fun. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and then so for the RBT, I remember you telling me just a little bit before this, you're now driving to that, right?
Yeah, I'm going with some friends and driving up to New York.
Oh
Yeah, it's like a
man.
12, 14 hour. I normally never do that.
Yeah,
But I had some like, yeah, random like last minute stuff
yeah,
happen or not stuff, but like, yeah, I just like, yeah, didn't I had a flight, but then I was like, I don't really want to do this flight because I had like the flight for like way too long of a weekend. I didn't. It's like RBT's only 1 day, so I was like, I'm just gonna cancel my flight and go with these guys.
yeah. And quick reference for everyone, Eric has told me in the past he basically will never drive over 8 hours
Yeah.
for an event,
Well,
and
well, I'm not driving.
now he's taking a 13-hour drive to play in an
I'm
RBT in
not
New
driving.
York.
I can't drive long hours. Like I just can't.
No?
I'm so I'll fall asleep. I'm so ass at driving
Oh,
long
really?
hours.
That
Yeah, I'm
surprises
really
me.
bad at
Well,
it.
I guess it doesn't surprise me too much. You fell asleep in the car a bunch when we were in Maryland.
The car makes me sleepy. I don't know what it is. It's so bad. Like I can't drive more than like 4 hours. I'll like need to pull over and take a nap.
Really? That's crazy. I
Yeah,
think I'm used
no.
to making those long drives back from when I regional grinded. And then Bella and I, my wife, we used to do long distance, so I would drive 5 hours like every other weekend to go see her.
Oh, straight? You wouldn't take a break?
Nah, I mean it's just
Jesus.
easier to one shot it. I mean the only time I'd break if I had to get gas or something.
I can't. I cannot do that. I need to pee
Yeah.
like every like 30 minutes.
Yeah, for Niagara, Kevin and I plan to drive up, which is I think we'll just split the driving. But yeah, it's like 4 hours
If
apiece. It's not too bad.
if I wasn't going to red eye that, I would go with you, honestly.
Dude, heck yeah. Jason said he wanted to go too, but he said he's probably going with his wife. So
Right, yeah.
maybe I can convince Chai if he's not going with his wife, but we'll see. I feel like
Yeah,
he'll
dude,
want to fly.
also, speaking of all these events, I want to talk about like attendance because so YC Sacramento I think had 160 something,
Oh yeah, and the
but
main event
the
was
main event was really
tiny.
small. Yes. So like why 160 is like, a little below average for an Ultimate Time Wizard, but percentage wise compared to the main event, it's a lot higher. That's like almost 20% of a YCS, whereas before it was like, we had around 200 players, but then there's like, almost 2,000.
Hmm.
So instead of 10%, it's now almost 20%.
Oh
If
yeah,
if Niagara Falls is like a regular sized YCS, which I expect it will be because it's planned out so far ahead of time,
right.
and and this Ultimate Time Wizard is like announced ahead of time, dude. If it hits 20%, like if it legit hits 400 people on a regular basis starting from now on, dude, Konami's got to do something about it, man. They can't just keep making it a side event. They can't just keep giving hamster mats for top eight. Like I don't know, something's got to happen. I feel like
No,
I don't know. It's just gonna be so big.
I do think it will too. Like, because I mean, I will say Niagara will probably be bigger for the main event this time around because there's a new ban list. There's going to be a lot more hype because of that, right? For current format. Uh, but yeah, it shocked me how small Sacramento was, and if we consistently can have our events, like 'cause it was pretty small for us too, for the Edison players, like you were saying. But if we get Edison to a point where it's averaging like 200 to 300 every time, and YCSs start averaging closer to 1,000, we're like a third of the size. Like you said, like that's gonna really make it so that it can't be a side event. It's just gonna be another main event, like running alongside the main event instead.
Yeah, and Konami definitely sees how big Edison's growing too. It just excites me to talk about like how crazy like Edison blew up. It's just unreal to me.
Yeah, I know. And that's why like I want some cool innovations to come out. I would love if we just figure out some sort of crazy counter to Blackwings because I feel like that would blow the format wide open.
Yeah, if there's a deck that like if it has like a 55 or 60-40 into Blackwing, and then even if it loses like 45-55 to the Vayu Frogs, it would still contend. Like
Mhm.
that's a top four deck if
No,
it
for
has that
sure.
matchup spread. Uh and I feel like Hero Beat kind of was that deck. Like I don't know,
No,
maybe there's
I
something
also am not
innovation.
completely against Hero Beat. I think the innovation of playing all these draw traps really hurt. There's just too many trainable traps, and it makes cards like Gemspark so much worse.
Right, because you target the back row, it's just a 2 for 2.
Yeah, yeah. So, but I also think that deck kind of like, even though it faded, I think it almost faded too hard. Like maybe it was
Right.
like overcorrecting. Um, and I could see it definitely making its way back because I remember like when Rick was topping with the event or with that deck at events, that deck didn't have crazy representation then either. So like,
Yes.
it might just be something where like good players haven't been playing it. Maybe that's something more to explore as well. Um, but yeah, ugh, dude, I don't know why the whole talk we just had about like these retro events and how they're getting bigger and bigger.
Uh,
Do you ever worry like the opposite, like with this last event being smaller, that if we have another small event that like maybe people are wanting to move away from Edison?
Move away from Edison?
Yeah, and like maybe to a different retro format even?
Oh, like you think Edison will die out and the new retro format might get born?
I just fear it might turn into that. I mean, Edison's been on what, like a 2 or 3 year run now?
Nats 2023 was the first Ultimate Time Wizard,
Right.
so it's been just over a year.
For its like popularity though.
The first RBET IRL was also in 2023, so it's still the
Okay.
boom. The boom happened like there was already like like it was going up like this even before nationals,
Yeah, yeah.
and then when nationals happened, just
Got it.
like
Okay.
it's yeah.
I
So
joined after the fact and I was always a goat player, right? So like the boom and goat happened way earlier and
right.
uh and it was kind of dying by the time Edison I shouldn't say dying, but it's on the decline by the time Edison was blowing up.
Mhm.
So I'm curious what that looks like and what the future of retro Yu-Gi-Oh looks like if Edison's not a part of it. Mind you, I want it to be a part of it. I'm still having a ton of fun, even though like as a deck builder, I feel like it's getting harder and harder to innovate in Edison just because the card pool and how optimized it's getting. I still thoroughly enjoy technical play and the actual games themselves, and
Yep.
in no way, shape, or form am I going to move away from that. I'm still gonna mess around with decks. There's definitely still more there. Just because I'm hitting a wall doesn't mean that like the format's solved. You know what I mean? It's gonna be harder and harder to innovate. I think.
Yeah, that's
Um,
just true for any retro format. Like if it
right,
gets popular, right? So people find all the innovations. You're just less and less innovations. Like Amaryllis wasn't a deck,
right.
right? And now GBs is coming. Yeah, there's a bunch of things. And I don't think Edison will ever truly want. Even if another format steps into the limelight and becomes the main retro format, Edison will still be there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
no,
can't
for sure.
see it
Kind of
just
like
like
Goats is
falling
right
off a
now.
cliff. Yeah, yeah, exactly. But if I did have to pick another format, um, well, okay, so yeah, there's basically in my head there's like three main contenders for a retro format right now. Uh, Goats, Tengu, and Hat. And Konami even knows this because when you look at their side events for retro formats, those are the three main ones that come up. Oh, and Critter, but no one really cares about
Yeah,
Critter
yeah, yeah.
format. Yeah. So out of those three, it's definitely not Goats. Goats is not, unfortunately, just not going to be. It's already had its time.
Yeah,
So it's either between Tengu and Hat. And Tengu, I think, is just too similar to Edison,
I agree.
and there's just not enough decks in Tengu. No, no, okay. There are enough decks in Tengu, but I think people are coping when they say like plants and agents aren't the best deck. They just are the best decks, in my opinion.
I agree.
So it's just Hat, bro. Hat just seems so fucking fun, and I just want to put it out. I did not play Hat. I quit right before Hands came out. literally
Okay.
like the format before. And when I look at the list for Hat and see all those decks, I'm like, this format looks freaking cool. I don't know how insane the technical play aspect is because when I do watch replays, I feel like a lot of the lines are pretty straightforward slash obvious. Like there's only like so many lines, so many strong lines you can take, I guess, at a given time. But I've only seen so many Hat. I literally just started watching Hat replay reviews like 2 days yesterday or 2 days ago because of you. Um, but no, there's so many freaking decks. There's like I love how the extra deck is almost it's not quite engine like how it is in modern, obviously. Like you go into extra deck as engine and then you have a billion options. But there is a little engine in there, and it's just there's a lot back and forth.
Yes,
It's
and
not just yeah.
the
Yeah,
extra deck
you're the
also
head
has a
expert,
lot more
so
utility, because like in this format, even like for synchros, we don't even have like Scrap Dragon yet. We don't like there's like not real like board removal, at like for targeting board removal. Like you're either clearing
yep,
the whole board or you're bouncing cards because it's really just Black Rose and Brio, right?
yep.
um, or I guess Mistworm too. But there's just so much more utility in the extra deck, whether it's for tutoring the main deck, whether it's for switching battle position monsters, whether it's for giving attack boost, whether it's popping. Like there's just so much more that it does. Um, but like you said, there are negatives to the format. Like Soul Charge, for example, is a big complaint people have. I will say it might be uh over complained because like a lot of games aren't determined by soul charge. It's more so like
I
the
think it's an over complaint. If
yeah
you yeah,
there's
they can't the game can't end that turn, so it's like I don't like I get you plus like 3 at the cost of like half your life, but like
yeah,
I
it
don't know. I
depends
don't
on
think
the
it's
deck
that
you're
bad.
against. Sometimes soul charge is like a god card in some decks, but like they also would already have to tutor a bunch of cards to the graveyard, so like it's not turn one
Yeah.
often for a lot of decks. But yeah, I like
Okay.
that format a lot. I actually have the entire thing built basically. I have like 14 decks or something. And if Edison ever did fade, which mind you, I don't want it to fade yet. I love this format right now, and I'm still on a huge high with it, and I'm so excited for Niagara. But if it ever did fade, I'd hope that Hat would be the next one.
Yes, I agree. I really like back and forth gameplay for sure. And Edison and Hat both have that. Another format, and I don't want to like get too carried or away over this discussion, but I didn't play this format too much. I played it a little, but uh BA Shadal format, I feel like had a lot of back and forth because both decks are amazingly consistent and they both plus a lot.
Hmm.
But they're not really like doing anything obscure to the point where like you're like dead next turn at any point really. It's kind of just like I'm gonna plus like 2 this turn, then you're gonna plus 2 back at me, plus 2, plus 2. I think that's the best kind of gameplay in my opinion. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that
no,
format's
no,
cool.
I agree. It's weird because like you want decks to have a high enough ceiling to where like you can play through your opponent's board and like outplay them by like playing correctly into their traps. But you don't want them to have too crazy high of a ceiling where like if they go first, they're auto winning the game. So like
Yep.
yeah, it's definitely like a nice soft spot, and I do think that exists somewhere between 2010 and 2015. So like that, in my opinion, that's like prime Yu-Gi-Oh years.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, super hyped about other formats if
Yeah.
they
I
ever
really
come
hope
into the
Konami
fray.
doesn't pick Tengu though. I feel like that
Yeah.
I know I do enjoy Tengu. I enjoy the gameplay, but I
Hmm.
do think in terms of longevity. God, I can't talk. In terms of longevity, Tengu would not be it. I feel like it would die a lot faster.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
I agree with the
Maybe
sentiment you said about it being like too similar to Edison.
yeah. People always be like, why don't we just play Edison? Like I don't
Yeah.
want to play against agents in Tengu all day.
Yeah, why would I want to
No.
play against a guy who has three Dark Arm Dragons in his deck and Christias?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it just seems it's not seem as fun.
Yeah, well,
The gameplay's fine though, but yeah,
no, I agree.
diversity definitely plays a factor into how well a format will turn out, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, me too. And that's another thing, because like the issue with Tengu, I think there's only like five real decks in Tengu, maybe six.
Yeah,
Like
F even, yeah.
it's way less. Like even Edison, I know we like to say like big three, big three, big three, but like there's always like one of 12 other decks that are like topping an event still. You know what I mean? Like
Anytime someone makes a tier list, it's big three, and then there's like eight decks in the tier right below it.
Yeah, an A and B tier, like, I agree, it's always like that, which is sweet. And then, like, as of recently, I've been finding myself trying to, like, alright, maybe the next iteration of Edison is just making, like, crazy high ceiling decks that maybe they're less consistent, but it's kinda like I was talking about with you the other day with dragons. Like, maybe if you just have a higher ceiling and you just need it to be your day anyways sorta thing to win an
Right,
event, like, what deck
right.
does that best? So I've been messing with a lot more decks that way, and that's why I'm also kind of big
Lightsworn?
on
Lightsworn?
Christia,
Lightsworn?
Christia Sworn.
Christian Sworn? Christian Sworn? If you're a day?
It's your
Yeah, I
day.
don't
You're the
I
best.
don't know. Millwolf? Seems good.
No.
Yeah, it's Edison is so I mean, I feel like we talk about this a lot, but it is in such a good card pool state. Like every deck kind of sucks to the point where any deck can kind of win. Like that's the beauty of Edison. It's so cool. There's so many decks that just even even Blackwings, right? Like, dude, sometimes they just like a lot of times actually they just like don't open a Shura board and they have to pass turn one. And it's just like, what the hell are you gonna do? And like, I don't know.
Right. Yeah, no, I feel like Blackwings is like so incredibly fair in such a cool deck if specifically Whirlwind wasn't a thing. Cause
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the deck would be tier 1.5 right now,
yeah,
probably if Whirlwind wasn't a thing. But that's the thing with the deck. The deck has so many auto wins with Whirlwind, so that's what it is. It's definitely like a mid deck, and then Whirlwind brings
yeah,
it up. So it has auto wins, and then if you draw mid game, you have like a crazy like one turn push. I don't. It's yeah,
no.
the deck's good.
I feel like it would be kind of like Hero Beat in the sense that like it's good against basically everything, but it's not OP like almost ever if it didn't have Whirlwind.
Yeah, pretty much, pretty
Uh,
much. Yeah, Hero V needs the one thing about Hero Beat is you have to draw Gemini Spark, and it feels like absolute dog when you don't draw Gemini Spark. So I just don't know how you fix that problem. Duality would be. I would add duality into Edison format if I could. Not gonna lie,
yeah,
that card.
I don't know if I would. I feel like it would make so many. I mean, it would make a lot more decks playable. Like I think even Gravekeepers randomly become way better of a deck with three duality. Um, but in a general sense, I feel like it probably helps like normal summon reliant decks like Blackwings already too much.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would help Blackwing a lot. But I just think it's like I don't know, a cool. Yeah, maybe in terms of like current Edison format, yeah, I guess you don't add it because you don't want to buff Blackwing anymore. But I just think it's those types of cards are would be cool to add in Edison.
Is there like a
I'm
specific
gonna play Tengu. I don't know.
pet
Yeah,
deck
let's
in
see.
Edison you try to make work?
My man, my man. I just ordered some.
Oh God, we got the mail day here.
I just got these. Oh,
Oh
these
baby.
in.
Oh Monster Mash.
Yeah,
We're Monster Mashing.
So okay, so honestly though, my main pack deck has been Quick Draw. Even before, and actually when I quit in 2014. I already had Flamvel and Quick Draw built in like 2013 for Edison specifically.
Really?
Like I was already playing, yeah, I was playing Edison back then.
Oh, you're an OG Edison player. I didn't even know it was a format until like 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, yeah, it was definitely a format. People like some people were playing it. Obviously, Goats was the more popular one. I was playing Goats mainly, but I did build Edison because I had very fond memories of Edison. So I wanted to build a Quick Draw, and then Monster Mash Quick Draw, Machina, yeah, Monster Mash Quick Draw, Machina, Machina, whatever became a deck, and I'm like, I'm just building this. This deck looks so fucking cool, and I've been playing it on Discord with my friends, and it's so fun.
Yeah.
Plus
Yeah.
one, plus one, plus one. It's so fun.
Coming to a monthly near you.
Uh, I am letting a friend borrow the deck.
Ah, I thought you were gonna
I
play it. Come on now.
I'll still be judging.
Oh, you're
Although
gonna
I
judge
do
this
want
next
to.
one?
Yeah, I want to. Although the Cyber Dragon I do really want. I do want Unulti Cyber Dragon, so I might play that one, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. I really want to play this X Saber deck I've been working on here.
Oh, shot for show it. Are you gonna
I'm
show it?
gonna show it. It is, hold on. I call it Edison Mill Sabers. It's taken that same light sworn idea that I was talking about, but X Sabers, they get the benefit of Ragigera can add back any saber from the grave when it's summoned. So you play two Ragigera, you play the four recursion traps, you play triple Emmer's Blade to float into Ragigera, and you also can bring it back with like Full Troll. But basically, it can search Full Troll if you ever mill Full Troll. It can add back to give you like just recursion. You have a lot of mill cards, a lot of removal, um,
Great,
and
not playing Avarice in this deck.
maybe you can, but you kind of want a lot of your cards engraved is the thing, because
Yeah,
you
that's
play like
true.
the 4
3
recursion
gun
traps, you
people,
play,
yeah.
yeah, you play triple Full Troll, you play double Regiera, you float into Regiera, you play the reincarnation. So there might be ways to play it though. Like I'm not sold on Book of Moon. I know everyone says you have to play that card in Sabers. Like in my head, it's like, oh, it's good with full helm, then I can reset Raikou or something. But yeah,
So, this is your pet deck? This is what you wanna
X Sabers are my
make?
favorite deck of all time, and even though I think they're ass in Edison, I'm trying everything I can to like get it to like at least a 1.5 tier in some way, and this is the closest I've been, I think, because I
Did
think
you play it when it was the best deck? Is that why it's your favorite deck?
when
Because of that
I
format?
started playing Yu-Gi-Oh in general, it was like towards the end of Tengu format. This was like the first X Sabers was like the first comprehensive deck I ever built.
Okay, so you're already playing it, but Rescue Rabbit or Cat was already banned.
Yeah, Cat was gone. It was like triple Dark Soul. You play
Right.
Bogart, uh, Pashul, all those cards.
Was it the only card they hit to make X-Sabers bad? Rescue Cat?
Yeah.
And just because of that, the deck became tier 1.5?
No, no, no. It's
What is the
because
reason?
the deck
Yeah.
the deck got Dark Soul and all that stuff.
No, 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 yeah, yeah, but then okay, so, like, when the deck got Dark Soul and stuff and Rescue Cat, the deck was the best deck,
Hmm.
and then
Rescue
Rescue
Cat
Cat
got hit,
got
and the
hit.
deck was still one of the best decks all the way up until like Nationals 2011, and by that point, it still like had a couple of them that topped, but the main decks at that point were like agents and stuff.
Right, yeah, and okay, like, basically what I'm asking is in Tengu format, it's full power without Rescue Cat.
Yeah, but it's like tier
Nothing else got hit?
1.5 or tier 2. Yeah, that was it.
Oh, okay. I guess Maxi came out and became more popular, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and it like had some good matchups, some bad. It was just like it was definitely in the format and like prominent in the format, but like it wasn't a top 3 deck at that point in time.
Right, 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 right. Yeah. I was playing that deck when it was full power, and I was like, this deck just feels way too fun and broken.
I didn't play back then. I wish I did.
Yeah, yeah. Was borrowing the X Saber cards back then as a kid. I was like, this deck is so overwhelmingly broke. Dark Soul is such a cool card.
Yeah, no, it is. It is such a cool card. Unfortunately, we don't have it in Edison, so that's why we make brews like this. Maybe I'll play something like this for the monthly. We'll see how I'm feeling.
Yeah. Wait, he's Bogart and I was a TCG exclusive, wasn't it?
When it came out,
I
I
think
have no idea.
I think Emers played and it was a TCG exclusive. I can't
I
remember.
think Full Helm when it came out was a TCG exclusive.
Oh my god, the whole deck's just TCG exclusive. What the hell?
Yeah. Uh,
Uh,
but yeah, this deck's sweet. I love X Sabers. I think it's has to do with the art and stuff. If you look at my Facebook, like my cover has a full troll in the background.
no, it doesn't.
It does. And then
I'm looking it up right
I
now.
have a mat. I won this 3v3 tournament where they gave the winning team custom mats, and I literally have a custom full troll with my name on it.
Holy shit,
He's
this
my favorite
cover
card.
photo is
Also
cringes.
in my latest, like when I came back to current and I was in top 4, they like show your favorite card on the screen as well as like next to your name, and I mine was like Saber Full
Oh, it
Troll.
says Ultral. Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude,
That's
I
awesome.
love this deck, but I'm not like in denial. I don't think this deck's very good in Edison
Yeah,
format.
yeah, yeah. It's not.
But yeah,
That's
pet decks. There's also I like this deck a lot that I've been messing with. Uh, also
okay.
don't
This
think
deck is
it's
cool as hell.
yeah,
It's so sick.
it's just got like some inherent problems that like it's a lot of 2 card ways to play, and it's almost like a turn too slow against some of these faster decks.
Yeah,
Is what keeps
yeah.
it from being
It's
relevant.
wait. Oh yeah, yeah. I thought it was like, oh, you're playing two of the dragon.
Yeah. Oh, and look how cool the side deck is. You play Kaiser Coliseum because
Kill me.
listen. You can allow your guys to destroy themselves in the end phase all the way down to 1 monster, so that your opponent's always at 1, and then you can overload your board again on your turn with like what's his name, the Urnite, and then
Mhm.
you just go back down to 1 monster right at the end of your turn
I mean,
again.
yeah, that is cool, I guess.
But
But
yeah,
I just hate Kaiser Coliseum. The
it's
card
only against
is
certain decks.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean these are just pet decks. I think I'm just commentating. You want something with this, right? I'm not done building this.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, I love this deck.
The Flamville zombie deck.
This deck is so cool. I literally have a video for myself back then playing Flammable Zombie.
This is another one using the mill. I've been messing with this package so
You've been
much.
putting that 10 card package in every deck.
Yeah, well, man, I was telling you, I saw so it was like so big in Chaos Dragons in 2012 to play like 6 Lightsworns, 3 recharge and charge. And I'm just trying to see like, all right, what decks can I abuse like power cards by milling, like by
Right.
being able to just mill cards from their strategies, or by the milling like funneling or filtering into something. That's kind of like my testing right now, is how I can make, how many decks can make this package work, and if it breaks any decks in any way.
Yeah, that Value deck might be it, bro.
It might
Recharge is a
be.
hell of a card,
It might be.
especially in
You
Value.
mill a lot of cards in that list. And even like set deep prison normal Lila sometimes isn't bad.
Yeah,
Like,
no, that's insane. It's actually insane.
yeah. So no, definitely something to
Mm.
mess around with, I'd say. But uh,
Hmm.
I'm like I said, I throw out 100 bad ideas before a good one sticks. So I need you
Might
to
have
help
to
me
try.
cook.
Yeah, this one, I don't know. This one I gives me a tingle.
Tingle. Did it?
Recharge is just so broken. It's
What?
just I can never figure out like a good way to do it, but I guess this one makes sense.
I thought you liked this. I thought you liked this version of this deck.
Okay, this deck, in my opinion, on paper is ass, but when we were playing, you were cooking the fuck out of me with this list. So obviously there's something, so there's truth to it.
Big
Oh wait, but
hands.
you were playing Beckoning or Reincarnation when we were
Yeah,
playing,
yeah,
right?
this is a changed list. This one doesn't play upstart card destruction, or whatchamacallit, plays more fairies.
Uh-huh,
So I
uh-huh.
wanted I wanted to play a higher fairy count to do this more, but this might not be it either. We keep messing around, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, this is just putting with Reckless, right?
yeah, I'm just trying to see like, well, it also plays like JDs and more Light
Oh,
Sworns,
he wasn't playing.
but it's like
Okay.
a diversified Light Sworn deck. Putting his theory is like he only wants to play the good Light Sworn monsters that are like almost always good, which is Raikou Lila. Like he relies on just having good card quality and using
Right,
them only for the purpose of like fueling the grave, to set up Alchemist by banishing cards, because you play so many ways to banish that are extenders,
right.
but they also fuel so for your extenders to summon more monsters.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you're just making it a higher ceiling, a little lower consistency, right?
Yeah, yeah, basically. But the goal of like rectifying that is like you're playing cards like Reckless and the
Reincarnate. Yeah, yeah.
reincarnation stuff.
Just
So
bomb, bomb. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Kinda cool. Kinda
yeah,
cool.
but this is what I'm
Need you
saying.
to.
We need more people to try to cook decks like this.
Yeah, and I feel like in Yu-Gi-Oh, that's always been a problem. I feel like there's always people who just like play, I mean, including me, that just play the solve proven decks and try to like improve upon that instead
Mhm.
of recreating the wheel. Recreating the wheel is just hard.
It is hard, but I feel like all the decks that people play, and this is for every format, not just Edison, is like there's 2% of players that formulate these decks, and then the other 98% just copy them and like switch a card or two, sort of thing. And like
Yeah.
I always aim to be the 2%. More often than not, I end up in the 98%. I won't lie, but it just takes hitting once to win an event. Like
Yeah.
getting it right once. You know what I mean?
I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh's past, like it's always been like OCG are the innovators, and then TCG players like take it and like refine it, right? So we
Yep.
just need more OCG brains, I guess.
Yep. 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 Yep.
You
That's what's
know?
cool. Like I like when I talk with Andy about decks, because he has just a completely different take on a lot of decks than I do, and it like really just opens up like, oh, okay, like maybe I should try this idea, even if it does lower consistency, just because like the
Mm,
trade-off is just way too good.
worth it. Yeah, 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 for sure. Yeah, maybe you guys just need to cook harder for us. Thanks, bro. I'm not
Shut up,
cooking.
I need you to help me cook. You're good at this stuff.
Oh, let me just test what you got and I'll try to improve it. Like that
Let
value list I
me
want to
cook.
try, yeah.
I'll maybe I'll make it for tomorrow. We got a nice hang sesh tomorrow. Oh wait,
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
one, that's
yeah.
regular.
I feel like if you just resolve recharge like It just seems like a regular value deck, and then also, by the way, I have this draw two mill two like in here. Like the only card it's missing that's integral to the list is Caius. I feel like.
Yeah, but Caius becomes less integral when like you're not
Right, you don't have
playing.
hams. Yeah,
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 you're
yeah,
not
yeah.
playing any hamsters, and you're playing Caius as like a, or not Caius, Sork as a different like drop. But this it's an
Right.
extender that's almost always live because you're playing like the way higher light count and ways to
Yep.
get them to
Yep.
grave.
No. No. I totally get it. But no, like I'm not saying you should play Caius. I'm just saying like the only difference is Caius
Yeah,
essentially. You know that feels.
I think there's a world where like I cut an Armonite for something, um, because you play
Uh.
like the higher normal summon, like standard normal summon count that's getting cards to grave. Um,
Yeah, but yeah, well, need
yeah,
testing, need testing, need
need
testing, need
testing, need
testing.
testing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to hold you here too long, man. I know we kind of just rambled on this one and about, you know, Edison format as a whole, the future of retro, as well as like events coming up. Um, I'm just super looking forward to Niagara. I hope you kick ass in New York and maybe get the
And
third
we
IRL
need.
win. Would you be the first to do that?
I think. Well, I'd definitely be the first to do three, and I was about to say I think I'm the first to still have two.
Are you the only one who has two?
I for IRL, I think.
Hmm. You're a
There might be
monster.
someone else. I don't know.
I
I don't
always
know. There might be
forget how
someone else.
good you actually are. Like these
No, I'm
local
ass.
guys. I'm surrounded by you guys locally, so like
I'm ass.
I'm
I'm ass. I'm
always
ass.
just I feel like because I'm around
Dude,
it so often, I never realize how good our area is.
yes. Yesterday or not yesterday on Friday when we went to everything games, I went 3-1. But my round one, I was definitely very very tired to the point where I was playing against a zombie dude. Shout out to Randy. And he summoned Goblin Zombie. I mean, I thought it was Pyramid Turtle, and he attacked. I mirror forced it.
Jeez.
Like I'm so ass. Ah! It was so bad. It was so
Yeah, you weren't locked in. You weren't locked in. We throw that one out the
I
window.
it was so bad. Like as soon as he's like, Goblin Zombie effect, I'm like, I'm actually just
I'm
yeah.
trolling. I'm trolling.
I'm retired.
How much longer you think you got playing retro Yugs? I remember when like 6 months ago when I had talked to you about it. You're like, I think I'm only gonna play through the end of the year, man, and all this and that. Like
Yeah, I don't remember saying that.
you
I
did.
remember
You
saying
you
I
told me
remember
you guys
saying
put a time
Edison.
limit on it, and you don't know how much time you have left.
No, no,
So
no.
you just wanted
We
to
put a
go to as
time
many
limit.
events as you wanted, like could right now.
We were putting a time limit on Edison itself.
Oh, so not for you guys. You were just saying you don't
No, no,
think
no.
Edison was gonna last that
I'm
long.
gonna play Edison until it dies.
Okay.
But I legitimately thought, yeah, like me, Chai, and Jason, we were talking about it like toward the beginning of this year, like 2024. We were like, Edison probably has like a year, maybe two left. So we were thinking at most it's gonna be until 2025.
And then that's happened,
And
and
then that's happened
you're like,
again this year. I'm
golly.
like, wow, this shit just keeps growing.
Um,
Everyone just wants to play
dude,
Edison. Fuck modern
I'm
Yu-Gi-Oh.
so mad that a bunch of flights got canceled because how sick would it have been if we like were well over 500 for the Edison event.
Right, there was like 50, 60 people that like didn't show up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easily. Dude, if you didn't book Southwest, like it was a heart attack for you.
Yeah, yeah. And I almost missed my flight. God damn, that was so
Yeah.
amazing.
Ugh. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Appreciate the love. I know it's a shorter one. We'll be back to the getting these weekly. I got some good guests planned for the future. Thanks for joining us on Dueling Dojo, and we are out.
Bye.